Awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vamily Show, Season 2, Episode 32. And with me today, I have Commander Bacon himself from the His Way Homestead channel. And I kind of wanted to ask you, where did you get the moniker Commander Bacon from? And how did that come about?
Okay, that's a good question. Pardon the chainsaw noise. My neighbor's working on his chainsaw, just trying to get it up and running. I don't think he's actually sawing anything. So I work with a ministry for boys called Royal Rangers, and it's based out of the Assemblies of God Church. But there are numerous churches that have picked it up as their premier ministry to boys, like the Church of God, all the Pentecostal charismatic churches. They all pretty much have it. Even some Baptist churches have it now. But and I was working with a group in Oklahoma at their district campground, and it was called a Junior Leadership Training Academy, and they had like 5 different camps. Different things was going on, like they had a hiking camp and a survival camp and different stuff like that. And one day, what would happen was they would go down there. People that had to go there early, the main person in charge, he would take those folks out to eat breakfast the following morning, the first morning. Well, it got to where we were so big that wasn't practical anymore. So there's actually a camp chef there, and they had a full commercial kitchen. And so they decided that one year they were going to cook all the breakfast there. So the night before, he cooked like 20 pounds of bacon and had it sitting on a cookie sheet in his kitchen unattended. And you could just smell the bacon everywhere through that building.
Oh, man.
So I did what any good deputy camp commander would do. I took one piece for me and one piece for my camp commander, and we proceeded to eat it. Well, my oldest son, he was a boy at the time, he saw the camp chef, and he narked on me, and he told me bacon. So I said, technically I didn't take it. It was what you were going to serve me the next morning. I just got it early, right? So he told me, he said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He said, I got to keep boys out of my kitchen, so I'm going to read you the riot act at formation in the next morning. So we get out there, and there's like a deck to the building, and then there's all the boys are lined up in front, and he proceeded to just read me the riot act. And after he got done, all the boys started chanting, "Commander Bacon, Commander Bacon." And that's how I got started. And that was like 9 years ago. And everybody just jumped on board with it. All of those folks in Oklahoma call me Commander Bacon. All the boys call me Commander Bacon. And I used it. A lot of different puns with it. If a boy was upset in my outpost, and try to encourage him, give him a hug, and say, "Hey, man, you just got wrapped in bacon." So, yeah. And I would tell him, say, "Hey, don't be acting up. Don't make me mad. Don't make bacon sizzle." Right. So things that we did with it, it made it fun. And every year somebody would bring me some kind of bacon gift. So I've got a bacon wallet, bacon Band-Aids, bacon toothpicks, bacon lip balm. I had all kinds of bacon calendars and stuff like that. So it was kind of crazy, but it was a lot of fun. And there's my hat. It kind of looks like Krispy Kreme Hot Light.
It does. I was gonna say I kind of hope you really enjoy bacon with all those different bacon gifts you got over the years.
Yeah, I even got bacon socks. So I mean, yeah, I always say that I never met a pig I didn't like to eat. Right.
Right. For sure. And I know you're getting close on your hours. Where are you at now?
I got 434 hours to go.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You'll be getting there sooner than you know. And I was gonna say I went through your playlist, and I kept catching it like on your live streams where it was you're celebrating each level.
Yeah.
and I kind of got the feeling off of it. It kind of reminded me of as I've grown, just being surprised. Like you probably never thought you'd get where you're at right now to be where you're counting hours
Yeah, I always hoped, but
down.
it just seemed like such a distant target that I didn't even really think about it. We started our channel back January 30th of this year, so it's going on 8 months, and to even get to 1,000 subscribers, we hit that mark in less than 6 months. That's pretty good. That was the big first surprise, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so and then Gary at Daydreams, he's the one who helped kick me over the top. I had 30 more to go, and on one of his morning shows, they just kept going until I got it, and it was pretty amazing.
yeah, yeah. That was awesome to see. And Chasing America says they're going to be streaming your playlist for sure.
I really appreciate it, and I kind of
Yeah,
figured what I'm getting about 30 hours a day now with a lot of the folks rolling. So probably within 2 weeks, I'll have it.
yeah, yeah. And it's a whole thing that you get surprised with after it happens. Like you hope for it, but like I'm on YouTube Premium, so I went on another account just to go on my own channel and watch a video and see an ad pop up in front of my one of my videos just to see it, because I was like, it's kind of one of those things that's hard to believe even after I got the email and everything, until I went and looked at it myself. I'm like, let me see. I'm not sure yet.
You had to see it.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
from the show me state. You got to show me.
yeah, yeah, exactly. What what would you say? Was there a certain video that kind of started to get a little more views that you thought you might be on to something, and something more might be possible?
Well, I mean, yeah. Our most popular video is a video showing the homemade quail cages that I built. Um, we're over 9,000 views on that one now, so it's getting close to 10 grand. That would be cool. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I'm looking forward to the day when I can post a video and I'll get 10 grand views the first day, right?
Right, right,
That would be cool, but
yeah,
that's not going to happen anytime soon.
right. That'll be really interesting, and to have happen. I haven't had. I don't think I've had any of them hit 10K at all yet. But who did you first start watching YouTube? And then you said, I'm going to give it a shot after watching this person do YouTube.
Well, I started watching different things on YouTube just to learn more, right? So it was more of an educational tool. And but I did watch a couple of them just for pure entertainment, like Matt Carricker with his
Mm-hmm.
channels. I don't know if you're familiar with them, Off the Ranch and Demolition Ranch.
I'll
Uh,
take a look at that.
yeah, he's got three different channels. He's a veterinarian down in Texas, and every one of them he has over 1 million subscribers.
Wow,
The one channel, Demolition Ranch, I think is like 3 million subscribers. Off the Ranch has 1 point something million subscribers. It's crazy.
wow, wow. And Chris from the World Outdoors in here, Van Life with Gina popping in now. Jay Charles, Lazy Pond
But
Farm saying, hey, Commander Bacon there.
when I did my marathon 7 hour road trip, Kevin stayed with me the whole time at Lazy Pond Farms. He was he was busy working, laying floor or something in his bathroom, but he kept it playing for me. That
Yeah.
was,
And Chasing America, they watch Matt too. So they're right there with you on that.
yeah, go check him out. He's a lot of fun. He's a young guy. He's got him and his wife and his kids. They got the cute status, right? So they're
Mm,
good looking people, and that really helps.
yeah,
But he's just a real person, and he's you know making a lot of money with YouTube. you know,
right,
if you
right.
look up the stats, man, he's making I think it's over 150,000 a year that he's
Yeah.
making off of one channel.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Yeah. And camping therapy, we did talk a little bacon before, and all the bacon things he's gotten, including bacon socks. Um, has anybody ever just bought you bacon out of breakfast just because they want to buy Commander bacon, some bacon?
No, but here's the thing. Here's the dirty little secret. Um, when I go on a camp out, when I take boys, I never cook them bacon. I always do sausage. And when I go out to eat and eat breakfast, I always get sausage. Mostly because it's a volume thing. I feel like I get more food for the money. Bacon, a lot of times they'll have thin little strips, and I'm just disappointed with the bacon. It's not good bacon.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no,
Is
I
there?
haven't. But one thing I'm trying to do, I'm trying to work out some kind of a sponsor agreement with a major bacon brand to see if I can't. We got one little series that we're trying to do, cooking with bacon. It's
Mhm.
really cooking with Commander bacon, doing a lot of outdoor cooking. But everybody's like, "Hey, you should be cooking with bacon, actually using bacon." So I kind of reverted it to that. And so if anybody has one of their favorite bacon recipes, email it to me, and we'll shout out your channel. We'll cook it and do a little taste test and see what happens. So
Well, I know who likes bacon. It's Bob the Raptor and Joe. They love bacon fry. Like
yeah,
this. And right brand bacon is good.
that's my
They
favorite.
want this.
That's I always say you can't go wrong if it says right.
Right, right. That's good. Is there a way that you would say is a great way to cook bacon? I've always heard cooking in the oven is a really good way to cook it.
Typically, when I cook it, I do it on a flat griddle,
Mm.
and I've actually have a video making bacon with Commander Bacon. So
So something like a Blackstone would work all right.
Blackstone would work great. The thing I do is I like to flip it a lot. I don't want it to get too crispy and hard on one side or whatever. So go check out that video, making bacon with Commander Bacon, and it shows you how I do it. Now, my wife doesn't like doing it that way. She'll leave it on one side till it's done on that side, flip it over once, and then she's done, right? But I like it somewhere in between chewy and crispy. I don't like it too crispy that it crumbles, and I don't like it so chewy that it's like raw.
I
You know,
got you. I'm right there with you. The in between.
little chewy, little crunchy.
Mm, yep. And man, we'll have to do something where we cook together one day because I got a little Blackstone, so I'll have to you have to show me how to cook the bacon on the Blackstone one
yeah,
morning. I'll have to come on your show or something like that. Now that you got the StreamYard, you can teach
yeah.
me.
I'd really like to get a Blackstone. If anybody is just wants to help a guy out, just send me a, a Blackstone grill.
Yeah. The
But
Lazy
yeah,
Pond Farm, Crispy Man here, they said, and Chasing America Crispy.
yeah. Hey, if it's bacon, it doesn't matter. Everybody has their preference, but hey, you're eating bacon, so it's
Yeah,
all. It's going to be a good day.
yeah. You can't go wrong with bacon.
Uh,
I don't think.
uh,
Oh man. Um,
let me show you the ducks. We got the ducks out in the yard.
yeah, I was gonna say you're on location there.
Yeah,
There's been a few people have been on location. Mostly people out there homestead. But the ducks are looking pretty good there.
yeah. The two white ones are belong to friends of ours. They're in the process of moving,
Mhm.
and they just figured, we'll keep them for them until they get moved. They're going to be moving pretty close to us, so it won't. Hopefully, it won't be too much longer. Another week or two, and they'll get their ducks back.
Right. And when you um, when you look back at your first couple of videos, uh, are you kind of a little embarrassed by them compared to where you're at now? And are you surprised that you've improved as much as you have?
Yeah, they were pretty bad. And as a matter of fact, the very first video I made, I didn't even upload it. It was so bad.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, I wasn't happy with it. And the thing too, I was watching so much of Matt Carricker that he always video was, "We'll see you and we love you," and I did kind of that. I was like, no, I can't do that. I need to do my thing, right? And that's why
Right.
I end all my videos with, "Don't forget, His way is the best way. We'll see you next time."
Exactly.
Yep,
Exactly.
you gotta do your own thing, and
Hmm.
so it's good to watch other people and get ideas, but you still have to do your thing.
Yeah.
So my very first video was fixing a leak around the third brake light on my Dodge Ram. So that was it. that
Just something to start with. As I was telling somebody, my first videos were not about me. It was just about something that I could video. But I
yeah,
wasn't comfortable being on camera, and that's a way that you can get started if you're not comfortable being on camera right away.
yeah. It takes a lot to get used to hearing yourself, and especially when you're editing. Um, and I always just hated to hear myself on a recording or anything. But now I found like it's not a big deal. You get
Yeah.
used to it. It's I mean, not to sound narcissistic, but I kind of like it.
Oh man. Oh man. No, I understand what you're saying. It's not as irritating as when you first start. Once you do it for a little while.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it. You know, I, I
Yeah.
I feel good about it. It's not that I'm in love with my voice or anything like that, but I'm comfortable. It doesn't. My wife still doesn't. She hates to hear herself on the video. She
Right.
hates videos. She hates to hear herself. So, but she does great. I mean, she makes really good videos, and she's
Right.
got her own.
See
All right,
see you
Kevin. See you
later,
later.
Lady Pronghorn. Yeah. And what has been your like? When did you start the homestead there where you're at now?
Well, this place that we're at, it was 14 years ago. We built this house, and you see it in the background. That
Mm-hmm.
is kind of a big house. I
Yeah.
think it's 3,400 square feet, and then
Wow.
I've got the big building over here. That's a 30-foot by 60-foot metal building.
Nice.
Uh, so we did a lot of the sweat equity thing building our house. We put up the building first, and the whole purpose of the building was that I could set up my wood shop, and I built all the cabinetry in the house.
Wow.
Kind of the joke was that we spent $50,000 so that I could save $10,000 on cabinets.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, all our cabinets are solid oak. I went to the sawmill, picked up the rough cut wood from the sawmill, planed all of them down, did all of it myself. Made the doors, made the face frames. The only thing that the main carcass is plywood. It's a regular oak plywood. So, but they turned out pretty good.
so that must be one of your uh Chasing America says nice place. That must be one of your first hobbies of love. Then is woodworking. With the way that you're talking about it, must be something that you've done for a lot of years.
It's kind of a love hate relationship.
Right.
I still don't feel like I'm very good at it, and I get frustrated with it because I'm a mechanical engineer by vocation, and everything with that is very precise, and I'm not good enough of a woodworker to be real precise. So they
Mhm.
always say the way to tell a good woodworker is not that he doesn't make mistakes, but how well he fixes his mistakes.
Right.
And
Right.
I've fixed a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. I worked for a place where we made they made cabinets for like schools and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
and also do like custom work, and the stuff that these guys could do with wood, and the forms that they would make, and all
yeah,
this kind of stuff was amazing to see. And when you're talking about mechanical engineering, working with metal and stuff like that, it seems like you almost have to have a more nuanced hand when you work with wood too. There's just something about the talent of using the woodworking tools to have the wood flow.
Yeah, there's definitely a skill involved. You have to. Yeah, it's almost like the difference between being an engineer and drawing up stuff and being a machinist making it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have to know the equipment. You have to know how to utilize the equipment. The little tips and tricks with that, and it can be a challenge. But I started doing woodworking because my dad and I would watch Norm Abrams' New Yankee Workshop on
Oh, I
Saturday.
love that show too. I love that show too. I went through it.
Yeah, and that's where it got started. And he got a little. He set up his little wood shop and actually designed the building that he has his wood shop in, and we built it ourselves, and it was kind of cool. So it was a common thing.
Yeah, I used to watch on Weekend RV. Nice to see you popping in here. And the RV DJ, she was on earlier today with us.
But
Um, I used to watch This Old House and all that stuff as well. Like that was, I always felt like a weird kid because I was always fascinated just by watching people build stuff or like Norm Abram building furniture and stuff like that.
yeah,
It just always fascinated me.
yeah.
Was there one thing that he built that you remember like you'd like to build something like it one day?
Well, he made a oak roll top desk, and I always wanted to build. I actually bought the video for it, and I bought the plans for it. I just never built it. Too much other stuff to do. But I think he did a. He might have done this an Adirondack chairs, and I built a set of those, and they turned out really nice. I built them out of cypress, and I didn't put any finish on it just because cypress is supposed to be an outdoor wood, and I wanted to just see how it would last. Super comfortable chair, but after being out, I guess I had that for like 15 years. It just rotted. So I need to make a couple more of those to sit around our we got a little campfire ring there, so I want to make like four of those and sit it around there, and that's pretty nice to have that. But I mean, it's I'm so busy with building cages and setups and stuff like that for the animals. Fences, that was our big project this year, was building putting up a high tensile field fence in the back. So eventually we're going to get some sheep for meat and some maybe a couple dairy goats, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even a miniature dairy cow. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be really neat to see. This winter, I'm thinking, man, if this winter, if you're shop seated and everything, and you get the time, doing a video of you following Norm Abrams' plans and building that oak roll top desk, I think that would make a really cool video series.
Yeah. Well,
Eh,
and I did a video on that our most popular video was the quail cages that I built. I did a follow up video of making those quail cages.
mhm.
That friend of mine that has those ducks, he was starting with quail, so he came over and I was making that for him, and we videoed all that, and that was pretty cool. And I have those plans available if anybody wants them. It was my design that I developed, and but what I'm doing is I'm asking. So it's kind of like, how, like, if you have a Patreon account that they get special perks and special privileges. I'm asking anybody that wants the plans to make a donation to our channel to help support our channel. I'm not saying how much. I'm not saying how little. I'm just saying help support us a little bit, because developing those plans and drawing it up and getting it right, it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And
Well, and then doing the video too when you do that. Well, people that do YouTube understand, but people that don't that are listening, it's almost like double or triple the time sometimes because you have to stop and set up the camera for the shots when you're trying to show the cuts and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, exactly. And it's a challenge. Now, a lot of the stuff I I went through and did the time lapse to make sure I didn't just bore people and make it an hour and a half long video.
Right. Right.
It's still pretty long. I think it was like 45 minutes. It's still pretty long video.
Mm-hmm.
But, also took the time to show people, and even had helpful little woodworking tips in the process. Things that people wouldn't think about. Hey, watch out for this. This will make it better, and things like that. So,
Right. And it's those little details, like for people that are listening out there, little details like that in your videos makes a difference. Like
yeah,
it may not seem like it does, but it makes a difference in the overall presentation in your video.
yeah, yep. Now, Bob, my big dream, my retirement gig, what I'd really like to do, this is, it probably won't happen, but it's a dream, right?
Right.
I want to build a frontier fort, and I want to have it a functioning frontier historical living reenacting fort. And in that, I want it to be like a historical bed and breakfast. If
Wow.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
know, people could come if they're interested in learning those old time skill sets, like how do you even raise chickens? What do you do? How do you gather eggs? What happens? How do you process a deer? Stuff like that, and make it a living, learning kind of place. They spend a week, and they have to get up in the morning, go do their chores, and then we come in and have breakfast and stuff like that. I think it'd be really cool. So they kind of get immersed into it and get a feel for what it's like. Is that too loud? I can
No,
move.
no, that's fine. I was gonna tell you, man, that's not. I wouldn't even say that's a probably someday dream. You could probably do that right now if you wanted to in the house you're in, and charge like $2,000 and call it an experience, and you'll get a ton of like rich people and rich kids that'll come and do it just so they can say that they did it in their life.
Yeah, and here's the beauty of it too. When you're building it, there are skilled people that know how to build log buildings, and you can make that part of it too. Hey, if you want to learn how to build a log building, you come in here, stay for a week, and you work on this, and you build one little cabin that people would stay in, right? And you
Mm,
can even have it open on the weekends and have like a blacksmith come in teaching blacksmithing classes. You can have special classes, canning classes, preserving food the old way. I think it would really be cool, and it'd be like a retirement gig, right? That'd be a full time.
right,
And even with the Royal Ranger program, there's an advanced part of it called Frontiersman Camping Fellowship, and that is the early fur trade era reenacting stuff. So we dress up like mountain men, and we have primitive tents and shelters, and we cook over an open fire when we go on campouts and everything. You could open that up to a group like that, and they would
right.
feel like this is what an experience, right? That's a mountain man would go to the nearest fort, trade and barter for his provisions to keep going out trapping. So there's a lot of different possibilities with it. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I
Anybody wants to sponsor that, let me know.
right, right. Yeah, for sure, for sure. The Royal Ranger thing, man. It sounds like a really interesting program, and I'll have to look into that because it sounds really like a really cool thing.
Yeah, back in 1962, a guy named Johnny Barnes, he founded it, and he was actually, from what I understand, I think it's true. He sat on the National Council for the Boy Scouts. So he asked the Boy Scouts for permission to copy a lot of their merits. So a lot of our merits are very similar, if not exactly the same as Boy Scout merits. The differentiation is there's a lot of Bible study. So we're trying to develop the entire boy. So there's camping skills, there's other things like that to get their physical and mental part, but we're also dealing with their spiritual growth too, which is really
Right.
cool. So it's a balanced approach.
I think that's a really cool program. to have all that included. You know, because I come across and the people I talk to and everything. There's so much missing when you look at what's not taught in school, like financial education. You know, that should be really taught in school because that's, you know, the stuff that you learn in school. Not everybody uses it, but there's something that I could teach in school that everybody can.
Yeah.
So,
And even chivalry type stuff, right? So one of the
mm,
first things I do is I tell the boys, okay, what's something that a man does standing up, a lady does sitting down, and a dog does with one leg in the air? Shake hands,
yeah,
right? So I teach them, you know, you look a guy in the eye, you shake, you get a nice firm grip, you shake his hand, you know. So simple stuff like that aren't being taught to the boys these days, right? So they don't know. They, and so at one point with one church I was at, I had 9 boys in my group that I taught directly, and half of those boys didn't have a dad in the home.
yeah,
And I had
that's,
them; they would come up and talk to me about stuff that they would only talk to a dad about, girl
wow,
problems, whatever, and that was really what it was all about, right? Um,
yeah,
Being that father figure to those boys, help them walk through this journey that we call manhood. And it's not an easy journey if you don't
no,
have anybody holding your hand along the way. It's
yeah,
it's a challenge.
yeah. And Construction Cronies, he became the first member. So, welcome, Construction Cronies.
Cool.
Uh, thank you for joining the membership. That's awesome of you. Um, uh, it's there was a news story I came across that kind of dealt with that. Uh, there's a guy that started a YouTube channel where all he does is teach. Like his whole channel is like, oh, you don't have a dad here. Let me show you how to do a spare tire change, and that's his whole channel.
That's cool.
Was trying to be a dad to kids that don't have a dad and show them stuff like that, like how you change a tire, how do you do this, how do you do that.
Yeah. You know, that's one of the first things that I taught my wife after we got married. I said, "You're going to change a tire." Because I don't want you being out on the road by yourself and have a flat and have somebody helping you and
Mm-hmm.
trying to take advantage of you, right? Trying to hurt you, stop and hurt you.
Right,
So yeah, and she's an awesome lady, man. There's nothing that she can't do. If she puts her mind to it, there's nothing she can't do.
right.
All the cooking stuff, she takes care of all that. She is an incredible lady. Like I told you earlier in the green room, we just got done processing 9 rabbits, and all I do is I dispatch and do one small little part, and she does everything else with it, and
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. A lot of women they wouldn't even want to touch it or do anything with it. Hey, Castle Highs, how you doing, Brian?
yeah. Yeah, and that's true, and it's yeah, construction drawings. Yep, first super chat, first member. Yeah, man. Thank you for popping in. And Highs is cooking on the grill, so I'm kind of jealous of that. Hopefully you're gonna have some bacon on there in honor of the guest here, Commander Bacon. And
We
that was a cool story. So if you guys want to hear that story, you're gonna have to go back to the start and listen to how he got the Commander Bacon moniker there.
Yeah, and you know we've smoked rabbits wrapped in bacon before. That's pretty amazing. But we had a campfire last night out here. It was nice and cool last evening, and we did some smoked sausages on the open flames, and along with some hot dogs. Man, that was really good. Nothing better than open flame cooking.
Yeah, they're doing some strip steaks. He says, which
Nice.
is
New York strip. I love New York strip.
yeah. And yeah, construction cronies, gorilla New Zealand. Yep, I agree, man. I agree. What are some things that you enjoy filming? Like, is there certain things like maybe the how to stuff or just during your day vlog or whatever? What's one that you enjoy doing most?
the ones I really enjoy doing is the shout outs for other
Mhm.
channels. That's a lot of fun, and to uh, find out what kind of impact I made on their channels. But you know, we started we started with chickens. We were in a subdivision in city limits, and we had like 4 or 5 chickens. And after a while, doing chickens and getting more animals and gardening and stuff, people at work knew that, and they would start asking us questions. Well, how do you do this? And we were thinking about getting chickens, and we don't we don't know anything about it. So we wanted to try to help people, right? And even my wife, she had some canning classes here before, where um, people would come in and she'd teach them. They'd go through it. They would bring produce, and they would can it together, and they'd take their cans and or their jars and go home. It was pretty amazing. So we really wanted to show people how to do stuff, be more self sufficient, and YouTube is a great format to do that. It's pretty amazing. So it was our way of reaching out to more and more people, because we have a finite uh, outreach around us physically to be able to teach people hands on. But with YouTube, it's limitless, right? It could be anybody. It
Yeah.
could be in Australia. That's about as far away as we can get. So it's truly amazing the outreach that you can have with it. And
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because we have somebody in here that's watching from Hong Kong right now. So not just
oh
Australia, but over Hong Kong. So um,
wow, that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Well, and construction cronies like he's thinking about rabbit stew, and he's like the ones that he has there, though, he might be protected and he couldn't eat them because they're his friends, but he
Yeah.
would if he had to. Um, uh,
And
was that something that was hard to get used to at first?
what was that?
Was that something that was hard to get used to at first? Was the processing?
It I tell you, the hardest thing if you're doing it for the first time is getting used to killing the animal. That's hard to get used to, and it's really nothing to take lightly either. You're taking the life of an animal, um, and you better be responsible for that, right? You've killed it. You better take good care of the meat and make sure you do it justice. We raise our animals for meat. We give them the best life that they can have while they're alive, which is, like our chickens and stuff, is much better than the big uh, commercial production units, right? They live a pretty good life while they're alive.
Yeah,
Uh, we try to do that. Try to make sure that they're healthy and and happy too. I've got one little baby bunny rabbit in there. I've never made a pet out of any of them except this one's really close to being a pet. Uh, it it actually it's a runt of a litter, and it would you stick your hand in there, it would just lick you and lick you and lick you all day long, which is pretty cool. And then I started picking it up and holding it to my chest, and it would come up and lick my cheek. It was like, man, you're really trying to make sure you survive this, aren't you?
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
I even went out there that one day and I said, okay, where's my baby at? And that rabbit came out toward the front of the cage and was expecting me to pick it up. And I've never been able to hold a rabbit like I can that one. It's pretty amazing. It's very timid, or not timid, very, very relaxed. And normally you can't lay a rabbit on its back and hold it because a prey animal, that's a bad thing for a prey animal to be on its back. It's very vulnerable. And this one, I can hold it all day long on its back, and it's just like I don't care.
yeah,
So it's pretty cool.
yeah. And construction cronies, like he says, it says that terrifies him, but I'm so thankful for the life they gave us and the people who live with that on their shoulders. Yeah, the people that do that every day, man,
Yeah,
that's gotta be a tough job because it's not even that's the people that do that every day. It's not even like where you do it, every so often. It's part of it. The people who do it every day, man. That's gotta be a really tough job.
well, it's a mindset, and when you're raising animals, you know that hey, we're raising it for meat. And the
Mm,
thing I try to tell people is if you eat any kind of meat, somebody had to do that process.
Yeah.
Somebody had to take its life. Somebody had to butcher it and process it. Um, so I'm not doing anything that they didn't hire somebody to do, so to speak, when they ate that chicken sandwich. You know,
Right. Right.
somebody had to do it. I'm just doing it myself. So it's like the IKEA of food, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's like the IKEA food.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Would you say chickens are like the gateway drug into homesteading? Then.
absolutely. They sure are. And most people don't have a problem with dispatching them because they're ugly. Now, a cute and cuddly bunny rabbit, a lot of people have trouble with that one.
Right.
But during the Great Depression, the government actually, instead of handing out money to people during the Great Depression, they said, "Hey, you need to raise rabbits," and they encouraged people to raise rabbits and have chickens, right? And they told them,
Mhm.
if you have 2 or 3 chickens and they're laying this many eggs, you're going to be able to eat. So,
Yeah.
and that's really why we started getting chickens. We wanted our kids to grow up knowing where an egg comes from and not thinking that it just comes in a styrofoam carton from Kroger,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's been pretty cool because they've actually been able to see a chicken lay an egg, and most people have never seen that. But it's pretty neat process. We hatch a lot of our own eggs to reproduce the flock. We've got quail eggs in the incubator now. Half of them hatched yesterday. We're hoping that more will hatch. I don't know if you could hear the quail in the background making that little chirping noise.
Every once in a while. Yep.
I love that noise. That when you're sitting around a campfire and they chirp like that, man, it's just the coolest sound.
They seem like really cool little birds too. Like like neat little birds to watch.
And really, I encourage anybody if they want to try raising a meat and egg animal, quail is your easiest way out. It's You can put it in a pretty confined area. It doesn't take up much space. They don't poop a lot. They don't eat a lot. Um, and it only takes like 15, 16 days for the eggs to hatch and 6 to 8 weeks before they start laying eggs. And
Wow.
and you can process them. That's the fastest animal you'll ever be able to produce.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's like it. They if they were left alone then and didn't have any predators, they could overrun an area pretty fast.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Now, these are Japanese species called Coturnix. Um, where I live, native would be bob white quail, right? And they're
Then.
bigger and they take longer for the eggs to hatch and they take longer for them to mature. And where I'm at, you actually have to have a special permit to raise them because it's a native species. So it's like if I wanted to try to raise deer, I'd have to
Mhm.
get a special permit for it.
Right. Right. And construction cronies, like what you were saying, like people have a hard time with the bunnies. Construction cronies, I do love quail. I'll shoot one of them anytime. Yummy. So kind of one of those things. Almost, it depends on the animal whether people have a hard time doing that or not too.
Well, and what makes a big difference too is when you're hunting, there's a distance between the act, right?
Mm.
When you're raising animals, you're hands on killing them. That's hard for people to get used to. There's a lot of hunters that can go out and shoot a deer, but they have a hard time if they want to try to dispatch a goat
Mm-hmm.
because you're up close to them and working on it. My grandparents used to raise pigs, and my one uncle lived next to them. And when it came time to process them, he would bawl. He would cry because he spent a lot of time with them. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, and pigs are very intelligent animals, and they have a lot of personality. And so do ducks. Ducks are amazing. Chickens have no personality. They're just weird. They're like little velociraptors.
Yeah.
But ducks will look at you like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing? What are you thinking?" you, they have there's an intelligence behind their eye that you don't get with any of the other birds.
Yeah.
So they're pretty amazing. As a matter of fact, our neighbor has a pond over here, and he gave us permission to go take our ducks on his pond and let them swim. And one day we did that. We had them all out there, and they were all swimming, having a good time. Then all of a sudden they got all quiet, and one of them did this,
Mm-hmm.
and he was looking up in the air. There was a hawk flying overhead, and when the main dominant duck saw that, he made some kind of noise, and all the other ducks quit making noises, and they all kind of got still. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, chickens are really dumb and ugly. And the thing that's more that I found out about chickens, the less sorry I felt for them because like if you're taking care of them, and let's say you have a heart attack and die in the pen, they'll start eating you. Like they don't care. So you.
As a matter of fact, and I I apologize if this is disturbing to anybody, but when we process chickens or process rabbits, some of the internal organs that we don't eat, we'll throw it to the chickens, and they go crazy over it. And one day we were doing rabbits, and we threw the heart in with the chickens, and there's still a lot of blood in the heart. And a white chicken picked it up, and it looked like a, like maybe it was just covered in blood.
Oh man.
Yeah, a chicken will eat another chicken. A chicken will kill and eat another chicken. They have no remorse. They don't care. Um, because some people get caught up and project human qualities onto animals, and they're not like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, how can you kill those animals in front of the other animals? You're gonna make them feel bad. No, they don't care. They're like, what are you doing? You gonna feed us some of it? They don't care.
Right, right. To
But
them, it's no different than a hawk coming down and grabbing one of them.
yeah,
Like,
it just doesn't matter to them. They don't see it as like, oh, my friend just died, and sad and mope around. They don't have that feeling. People do.
yeah, yeah. That's
He's
it.
behind me now. They're well right over there.
Right. But I think even if people, when you were talking about your dream to have the place where people can come out there and try living like that for a week, I think even if they went back and they didn't necessarily decide, okay, well, I don't want to, because it would be a good idea for people that want to homestead too. Like, well, come out and try it for a week, then get up in the morning and then see if you still want to do it afterwards. It's way cheaper than actually buying the homestead. But
Yeah,
I think it would give people more like what you were saying for your kids. It would give them more of an appreciation for the food that's on their table, like from the vegetables to the to whatever meat there might be.
yeah, and I belong to a lot of different Facebook groups, and you always get somebody post the question of, hey, how old does your kid have to be before they're part of the process, right? And the earlier the better, right? Because then it's a normal thing for them. They grow.
Mm-hmm.
This is normal. This is where my food comes from, and it's not. There's no shock factor with a little kid. I mean, they're right there with it. They're they're easily adaptable, and
Right.
if all they know is because it wasn't that long ago, like 50, 60 years ago. The only way you got chicken dinner was you raised the chicken
Right.
and you went out in the backyard and you wrung its neck and you plucked it and you brought it in, you fried it up. That was normal. That was the normal life. There was no processed packaged chickens at the grocery store. It just
I
didn't happen.
remember I remember many a stories from my dad and everybody talking about the chickens running around after they chopped the head off. But they told I remember one thing he said though. If you ever do a turkey, make sure you put a box over it or whatever, because those ones can kick you and stuff after you take their head off. So
Yeah, they can hurt you. It's a lot of power. So yeah, there's a lot of different things with it. But yeah, I like what you said. I think people need to experience and figure out if, hey, is this for me?
mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people dive in thinking, hey, this is what I want to do, and then they're like, man, I can't do that.
Well,
I
especially because YouTube now too. They watch you watch YouTube channels of people that do. Oh, that doesn't seem like it's that hard. Well, you can probably tell people stories about having to go out, with below zero, and there's, some animal that's hurt outside. Now you got to dispatch that animal out there in the freezing cold, and
like
that's part of the way.
we had an owl come in and killed a bunch of our young pullets that we had. What do you do? Well, you got to deal with that. So there's a lot of things that's not the fun stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
dealing with different problems that the animals might have, treating different conditions. And we've got a bunch of videos about that with rabbits too. Um, rabbits are rabbits are like one of the easiest animals to raise. They reproduce fast. One female rabbit, if you kind of pushed her but didn't push her hard, bred her as soon as you could breed her again, could could theoretically produce 300 pounds of meat a year. One. And rabbit meat, domestic rabbit meat, is high in all the good stuff, all the antioxidants, and all the special. It's almost like a perfect meat. And for all the people that hunt wild rabbit meat is kind of dark. It can be kind of tough. Domestic rabbit, almost all the meat is like a white meat. Even the back legs is almost white like a chicken breast. It's really good. So, I mean, and we eat a lot of the internal organs. We eat the liver and the kidneys off the rabbits. Sorry, hope it didn't offend anybody. A lot of people really turn their nose up with internal organs, but that's all part of it, right? You don't waste anything.
Liver is about the only one that I enjoy eating. I tried the other ones. I didn't really care for the other ones, but liver. But that's most people don't like liver either. So
Yeah. I grew up, man. I love liver. I could eat. We have some people that'll get like a half a side of beef or whatever, and the liver will come with it, and they never want it. They give it to us.
Yeah.
Like beef liver and onions, man. That's some good stuff. But chicken livers, rabbit livers, whatever. I'm gonna have to. Why don't you come along with me? I got to let the ducks back in. They look like they want to go back in the cage.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, construction crowing. His dad worked owning chicken. He's 71 now, and he worked in a chicken farm when he was young. So yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Probably saw a lot of stuff there that he's like, I'm not gonna eat no chicken.
Yeah, and I could see that. That could be kind of nasty.
Yeah.
They're going the wrong way. I got to get my ducks in a row. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, calm down.
Chasing America remembers their grandpa wringing the chicken's necks, and it was something that you got used to.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's a process.
Yeah,
we've got these new ducks. Oh my gosh, they can fly. I'm not used to the ducks flying. We have Peking ducks, and they're too big to fly. But these Muscovy ducks, these gray ones here,
yeah,
that one was like 15 feet in the air.
Oh man,
but they're not going in. But I didn't want them to go too far down the other part.
Looks like you ended up having a nice garden this year too.
Yeah, we do. We had it's kind of she's starting to plant the fall stuff now. But let's see if anybody knows what this is. That one really needs to be picked. You know what this is?
It looks like some sort of either a zucchini or something.
It's not zucchini. It is loofah.
Oh, the loofahs.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's one plant, and we've probably got 20 some different loofahs off of it. So,
and I didn't know until I started looking more into gardening either. For those out there that don't know, the loofah is like the loofah sponge you use in the bathroom. It's something that's grown. It's not like I thought it was like maybe a sea sponge or whatever. Nope, it's a gourd.
Yeah. So what you do is the outer shell of it, you have to peel it off, and then you got to slice into it and get all the seeds out and rinse it really good, and then you let it dry. So that one is turning dark brown. That one's ready to go. But yeah, I don't know if I don't know if the ducks are going to go back in or not. But I don't want them to go down to this other part. So see here we got here's our other ducks.
Oh yeah.
That's our big Peking duck. And back there, that's our beehive.
Right. That's that's awesome. That you even got honey out there too.
Yeah, we just started back in May. I built some swarm traps, and I never fooled with bees. This is all new to us. And we were over at our neighbor's house, and a bunch of honeybees started swarming, and we were able to catch that swarm. And I've got that on all on video too.
Oh man.
That's a pretty interesting video because I didn't have any beekeeping gear at all, no veil, no special protective clothing, and I climbed up a ladder, and the swarm was this big cluster ball on this branch, and I put the swarm trap box up underneath of it and just shook it, and
Wow.
we figured it up later. There was 10,000 bees in that, and probably about a couple thousand of them went down across my face.
Oh wow. Wow.
Came down off that ladder pretty fast. It's a wonder I didn't break my neck trying to get off of it.
Oh
But
man.
all that was on video, so that's a video on YouTube. So
Yeah.
check it out. It was kind of crazy, and I guarantee you'll laugh when you watch it.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. Even I laughed when I watched it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I have a feeling you're going to get there. And for anybody that's coming later, he's almost there on monetization. He said 5:34.
434 left.
434. 434. So if you want to go over there and run his playlist, that would be awesome, guys. And we're heading here at the end of the show. So Commander Bacon, is there anything that you have coming up that you're excited to be showing everybody?
I don't. We've done so much stuff, so a lot of our stuff is how to, and it's whatever comes up, right? Like we did a how to on how to replace a dishwasher. It's just whatever happens to come up here. One thing I'm probably going to do because of folks like you, Bob, and probably have to get with you later about it. Is my youngest son approached me last night. We talked about 2 or 3 hours. We were talking about doing live stream interview type stuff, trying to do that maybe once a week or maybe every other week, and him and his friend could be my producers,
Awesome.
and then
Awesome.
I'll
That'd be awesome.
throw that out there in a podcast too, because that sounds
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Just let me know what I can help you with and all that kind of stuff. And I'll help you. I'll help you get it set up and come on the show and all that kind of stuff. So just let me know.
Yeah, so the next big video that we're gonna have, we're going on a camping trip, one of those Frontiersman Camping Fellowship camping trips, and I'm gonna have my youngest son's going with me, and he's gonna video all of it, and he's gonna edit all of it, and he's gonna add music to it and everything, and he's definitely got an artistic eye. He videoed one of the fence building videos for us, and huge difference between what I do and what he
Right.
does. So it's pretty cool. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And Chasing America said we watch that for sure. And yes, Construction Cronies. One day I want to get VMix. I definitely don't have the computer to run it. And he also says people love interviews, and those are the best streams. And I tend to agree with him because everybody talks about it, and you're just about there to where you're monetized too. Is that you want to have stuff that is people can watch over and over again, and
Yeah,
just a normal live stream where you're just talking to people. There's not much replay value in. Where if there's an interview, somebody can go by. Oh, I want to. Maybe they become a fan of years later, and they watch your interview on somebody else's channel or vice versa. You know what I mean? Whatever, and they're like, oh, I want to see how it was way back when. So
yeah.
yeah,
I've watched watched replays of interviews where I watched it the first time and they said something in it, and then it was like, I want to go back and revisit what they said because they had some pretty instructive stuff in it. You know.
yeah,
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 Brett.
for sure.
Trying to keep these ducks from going to the other end.
Awesome, awesome. Well, guys, until next time, stop waiting for life to happen and make it happen. And check out His Way Homestead, and then you can see how to make the homestead happen.
Yeah, and don't forget,
And
way is the best way.
yep, yep. And I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Bob.